You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon, welcome back. Today is Thursday, 5th day of February, 2026. Thanks for joining us. Wherever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. Now, the first broadcast is our live training room. So that's reserved for members only and those who are taking their 1-week free trial. If you've not yet taken your 1-week free trial, when Michael joins us in about an hour, he'll walk you through step by step how to take the trial. It'll take about 3 minutes of your time to get signed up. We'll get your indicators up and indicating today. Your trial will officially start tomorrow, which I know is a Friday, but don't worry, it'll run all the way through the end of next Thursday. You get 5 consecutive trading days. The weekends don't count against you, and there's no credit card required. When you take the trial, you're not just getting access to the live training room, you're getting access to everything we do around the clock. We treat you just like you are already an official member, a passport holder, for 5 consecutive trading days, so that at the end of the trial, you can make a well-informed, intelligent decision as to whether or not trading is right for you. So be sure and stick around. Top of the hour, Michael will walk you through a couple simple steps. And again, there's no credit card required. And you get 5 consecutive trading days. So your trial, if you sign up today, your trial is going to officially start tomorrow, run all the way through next Thursday afternoon. Now, when the live training room ends each day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, we take a 30-minute break and then come back for this broadcast, the noon broadcast, which is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. There's 2 different ways to join this afternoon broadcast live. The best way, you only have to do it once. Go to mytradingiq.com. Scroll down the page to where it says noon broadcast. Click the link, fill out the 30-second registration form, and you're done. What will happen going forward is every trading day you'll get an email about an hour before this broadcast starts. In the email, there'll be a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it automatically logs you into our platform. The benefit there is you immediately have access to the question box, so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there'll be days you're out of the office, away from the desktop, but you still want to join live. And there'll be days when you're busy, so you can't join live, but you want to get caught up later. You can do both of those via our YouTube channel, and that's easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN. That's the Christian Financial Radio Network since 2005. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, as we're doing right now, simulcasting, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,900 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. youtube.com/CFRN. And if you're new to our neck of the woods, it's a great way to get to know who we really are. Thanks to the power of YouTube, you can scroll back 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more. Now, obviously, you're not going to watch them all, nor do you need to. But it's a great resource to have at your fingertips because you can literally see how we've evolved over all these many years, day by day by day. Once again, youtube.com/CFRN. On the left side of the screen is our schedule for each afternoon broadcast. Again, Michael will join us about 1 p.m. Eastern for a recap of what happened in the live training room this morning, then do a little live trading as time and the markets permit. But we'll start now where we always do each and every day with our daily devotional. Now the topic we're currently on, five fear fighting truths. And we're on day 3 of 5 because we were out yesterday, or I was. Today's scripture is Psalm 32, verses 7 through 11. I'm going to share it with you from the NIV translation. Starting in verse 7. You are my hiding place. You will protect me from trouble and surround me with songs of deliverance. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you. Do not be like the horse or the mule, which have no understanding, but must be controlled by bit and bridle, or they will not come to you. Many are the woes of the wicked, but the Lord's unfailing love surrounds the one who trusts in him. Rejoice in the Lord and be glad. You righteous, sing, all you who are upright in heart. Again, Psalm 32, verses 7 through 11. Stand by 1 minute. Technical difficulties. Not unusual. It happens. Alright, let me see if I can fix it on the fly. Stand by. Here we go. God is your hiding place. I hold a list filled with words written in black ink on cream paper. The page is small, but the sentences scrawled on it feel big. More than I can handle. I'm part of a group, and our assignment for this week is to write down our fears. The facilitator says, okay, we're all going to read our list aloud. I panic for a moment. Read them out loud where people can hear? For a second, I consider running out the door. But then I think, no, I want to be free. My heart pounds as I begin. I'm afraid of not being good enough. I'm afraid of disappointing God and others. I'm afraid of rejection, failure, conflict, disapproval, inadequacy. What fears would be on your list? When we're afraid, our natural tendency is to hide. We physically or emotionally retreat to where it feels safer. We may hide under the covers in our bedroom, or we might cover our hurt with a smiling face. God knows this tendency we have as humans, and He doesn't tell us never to hide. We aren't in trouble for this instinct. What God does want to change is where and how we hide. God Himself wants to be our hiding place. Psalm 32:7 says, "For you are my hiding place. You protect me from trouble. You surround me with songs of victory." I used to think I had to get rid of my fears before I came to God, that He wanted me to be strong all the time. Instead, I'm learning God invites us to come to Him when we're afraid. We don't have to be alone when we're scared. We have a loving God willing to be our help and hiding place. When I looked at my list of fears, I wanted to run from them. But instead, perhaps fully for the first time, I realized I can run to God with them. After I got home from my study, I got on my knees and read my list again. I prayed to the Lord, and He answered me. He freed me from all my fears. Psalm 34:4. I will face fears again in this life, and so will you. But that moment felt like a breakthrough. Whatever we're facing, we can come to God with it. He is our strength and security. He gives us courage and makes us brave. His love and truth are bigger and stronger than anything we fear. Let's pray. Lord, You are our hiding place and our refuge. Surround us with songs of deliverance. Guide us in the way we should go. Help us trust Your counsel, rejoice in Your mercy, and be glad in Your faithful love. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, amen. Amen and happy Thursday. Rough day for the markets. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. Start here in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Currently, the Dow is down 408 points, almost 1%. NASDAQ down 229, just over 1%. S&P 500 down 61, almost 1%. And the Russell 2000 down 15. In the commodity basket, crude oil down $1.63, trading 63.52 last. It's a drop of 2.5%. Gold down $51 and make that $47.80, trading 4,903 last. That's a drop of 1%. Silver down $8.67, trading 75.72 last. That's a drop of just over 10%. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei fell 475 points, almost 1%. Shanghai dropped 26. Hang Seng gained 37. In the European markets at the close, FTSE down 93, almost 1%. The DAX down 111. The CAC down 25. So we had a mixed day in Asia, with the Hang Seng being the only green on the screen. It was a red day for the UK, and it's a big red radio Thursday here in the US of A. Let's take a look at some of the news. Representatives from the US and Iran will meet overnight in Muscat, which is in Oman, for rare face-to-face talks. White House envoy Steve Witkoff and advisor Jared Kushner are expected to meet with Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, best guess, among others. U.S.-Iran tensions have escalated in recent weeks amid Iran's crackdown on protests last month. Senior Iranian officials estimate the death toll at 30,000 people or more within 48 hours, a pace seen in the September 1941 Nazi massacre at Babin Yar. The U.S. has sought to negotiate with Iran on two tracks: multilateral talks over Iran's human rights violations, missile program, and support for militant groups, as well as bilateral nuclear negotiations. The delegations were scheduled to meet in Istanbul. However, Iran recently pushed to relocate talks to Oman and limit the scope to direct nuclear talks. The meetings come days after alleged Iranian attempts to target a U.S.-flagged ship and aircraft carrier. Guys, I'm no doomsday prophet, but we may be on the verge of World War III. Washington Post yesterday announced it is laying off 1/3 of its staff, reportedly over 300 people. The Jeff Bezos-owned paper will enact changes, including restructuring its local news division, scaling back foreign coverage, and eliminating the sports desk. The layoffs come days after the Post cut Olympics coverage from over a dozen journalists to just 4. The 148-year-old newspaper, which played a pivotal role in uncovering the 1970s Watergate scandal, has undergone multiple rounds of layoffs and buyouts since Bezos bought it for $250 million in 2013. Under the Amazon founder's leadership, the Post has also ended presidential endorsements, adopted a more conservative approach to its opinion section, and introduced AI-powered search. Meanwhile, longtime competitor, the New York Times, has more than doubled its staff over the past decade, and yesterday reported $802.3 million in 2025 fourth quarter revenue, up 10.4% from 2024. As a private company, the Post does not have to share revenue, but reports suggest it lost about $100 million in 2024. Moving to London, UK broadcaster Sky released a premiere date for the British version of Saturday Night Live. The 6-episode series will debut March 21st and feature 11 cast members, including sitcom actors, comedians, and contestants from British game show Taskmaster. Saturday Night Live has been on air since 1975. Since 1993, there have been over a dozen international spin-offs, including Brazil, Egypt, France, Poland, and South Korea. Most have not lasted more than 2 years. South Korea's has lasted the longest after a hiatus from 2017 to 2021. SNL creator Lorne Michaels will serve as executive producer for the UK spin-off, which, like the original version, will feature a live studio audience, topical sketches, celebrity host, and musical guests. The show will be adapted with a British lens per Sky. Research suggests British humor tends to be more ironic and dry than American humor, which tends to be more direct. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, because Saturday Night Live here in America, I don't know if you've bothered to watch it of late, but well, to sum it up, it's just not very funny. It hasn't been since maybe the 80s. There was a time, Saturday night, everybody was in front of the TV to watch Saturday Night Live. I think it was not too long after John Belushi passed that the show just, again, wasn't funny. U.S. stocks, of course, lowered today in a fruitless search for a reprieve from a building tech sell-off as investors await Amazon earnings, accessed Alphabet's big AI spending plans, and digested jobs data that signaled fresh weakness in the labor market. The market is in the midst of a trillion-dollar tech wipeout as investors weigh whether some software stocks took too big a beating. The losses have been spurred by worries about AI disruption to established software players, a risk that has been overlooked by investors focused on the fallout from massive AI spending until recently. Wall Street is still digesting the latest batch of corporate earnings with big tech's AI build-out and demand and high focus. Alphabet shares slid over 5% after the Google parent outlined a significant ramp up in AI investment to as high as $185 billion in its quarterly results late yesterday. The countdown is now on to Amazon's report, set for release shortly after the market closes today at 4 p.m. Eastern. Eyes are on the all-important AWS cloud unit, expected to deliver a 21% jump in sales. If we get it, will that be enough to turn the tide? That's a great question. Wish I had the answer. Layoff announcements ballooned in January, hitting the highest level for the month since 2009, according to a Thursday report from the global outplacement firm Challenger Gray and Christmas. That should come as no surprise given tens of thousands of job cut announcements in recent weeks from the likes of Amazon, UPS, and Pinterest, as companies claim the need to make room for investments in artificial intelligence, reorient business plans in uncertain times, reduce bureaucracy, or compensate for the rash of pandemic-era hiring. And more on the Washington Post. Jeff Bezos came, he saw, he conquered. And everyone was scratching their head back then going, why in the world would someone like Jeff Bezos buy a newspaper? Well, he conquered, but maybe not in the way you'd expect for a one-time financial savior of an iconic newspaper. There are now two Bezos eras at the Washington Post. The first started when he rescued it in 2013. The second began when he saw it gutted, blessing the mass layoffs the company executed yesterday. The Washington Post, as we mentioned, is eliminating a third of its staff, including more than 300 people in the newsroom, and shuttering or just getting rid of entire sections, including sports, local news, books, and international coverage. So what's left? I guess politics. And maybe that was the point after all. Out of Copenhagen via Reuters, Novo Nordisk said today it would take legal action against Hims and Hers after the online telehealth company said it will begin offering compounded copies of the Danish group's Wegovy pill at an introductory price of $49 per month. The action by Hims and Hers is illegal mass compounding that poses a significant risk to patient safety. Novo Nordisk will take legal and regulatory action to protect patients, our intellectual property, and the integrity of the U.S. gold standard drug approval framework. Novo Nordisk said it was the only company that manufactured an FDA-approved Wegovy pill formulated with SNAC technology, which facilitates semaglutide absorption when administered orally. Everybody else, you got to take this shot. And oil fell for the first time in 3 days after Iran confirmed it will hold negotiations with the U.S., easing the immediate risk of military conflict and supply disruptions from the OPEC producer. We'll go over the charts here in just a minute, and you'll see what it's done. China's Xi warned President Trump to use extreme caution regarding arms sales to Taiwan in a phone call between the two leaders. Taiwan was one of more than half a dozen topics Trump and Xi discussed during a long and thorough call yesterday. Trump wrote about this on Truth Social. The two leaders discussed the war between Russia and Ukraine, Iran and China's purchases of U.S. exports, but Taiwan was central to the conversation, according to the New York Times. Beijing claims it must safeguard its territory and considers Taiwan part of that territory, according to reporting from the South China Morning Post. In December, the Trump administration announced its $11.1 billion weapons sale to Taiwan, the largest arms agreement between the U.S. and Taiwan to date. The deal was announced as China continues to claim sovereignty over the island, but Taiwan operates as a democracy separate from the Chinese Communist Party. During Wednesday's call, Xi reportedly told Trump that Taiwan is the most important issue in China-U.S. relations, adding that China will never allow Taiwan to be separated from China. Following the call, Taiwan's foreign ministry said it welcomes efforts to ensure regional stability and shore up the status quo amid increasing People's Republic of China pressure. That's a powder keg. The American Society of Plastic Surgeons Tuesday became the first major medical organization to oppose gender transition for minors when it recommended that surgeons delay gender-related breast, chest, genital, and facial surgery until a patient is at least 19 years old. The ASPS, American Society of Plastic Surgeons, represents more than 11,000 physicians worldwide, which is more than the number of surgeons the American Board of Plastic Surgery has certified since 1937. In support of this recommendation, the ASPS cited recent publications reporting very low certainty of evidence regarding mental health outcomes, emerging concerns about potential long-term harms, and the irreversible nature of surgical interventions, and insufficient evidence demonstrating a favorable risk-benefit ratio. It's about time. Now the question is, will they listen? This has been such an incredible moneymaker for hospitals and surgeons and insurance companies. And it's cost the state of California a whole lot of money because some illegals cross the border and want to get thrown in prison because they can get, courtesy of Gavin Newsom, free transgender surgery. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton demanded a public hearing. Now she refused to answer a subpoena. And then I think she decided maybe they would answer it. But suddenly today she's demanding a public hearing in the House investigation into Jeffrey Epstein and slammed Republican lawmakers who she says have ignored previous testimony from her and former President Bill Clinton. For 6 months, we engaged Republicans on the Oversight Committee in good faith. We told them what we know under oath. They ignored all of it. They moved the goalposts and turned accountability into an exercise in distraction. That's what she wrote on social media. So let's stop the games. If you want this fight, let's have it in public, she added, directly addressing Representative James Comer, who is chair of the House Oversight Committee. Echoing Comer's frequent calls for transparency, she continued, "There's nothing more transparent than a public hearing. Cameras on, we will be there." Okay, so why didn't they answer their subpoena? I think we all know. But we'll see what happens. The Clintons' lawyers accepted terms of depositions at the 11th hour. The committee Republicans' officials' account posted today. So that's that. Logic 247, our 24/7 around-the-clock E-mini alert service. It's not just E-minis, but also crude, gold, and silver. We're currently in week 392. Over the last 392 weeks, we've issued over 21,400 individual handcrafted alerts. And what we've averaged on a weekly basis is 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on simple market structure and a simple process we teach all of our passport holders. Valerie did the recap this morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. She will update it this afternoon as appropriate, as she does each and every day. Since the markets opened Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we issued a total so far of 29 alerts. Still waiting on the outcome of 5 at the time of the recap. So some of that may have changed. That will be reflected in the updated recap this afternoon. So that gave us 24 actionable alerts, of which 2 or 8% would have been stopped out, again based on simple market structure and the simple process we teach all of our passport holders. Now, the purpose of the logic alerts is to help you learn how to read a chart. Every logic alert has an entry price, long or short, an initial target designed to help you get your goal for the day, in most cases additional targets, and then a final trade to target. If you never actually trade a logic alert, you can still and should still use them to help you learn how to read the chart. You got to be able to speak the language of the markets, and the language of the markets has no words, no sentences, no paragraphs, no punctuation. It's a nonverbal language, but you can learn it. You just got to show up, do the work, and pretty soon you won't need the logic alerts because you'll be able to read the chart yourself. The logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock, 2 a.m., 2 p.m. Futures trade around the clock. We have traders around the globe. Our day session is their night session, and vice versa. Now, 392 weeks is a long time, over 7 years. But many years before Logic 247, we had our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts. Now, they're different in a lot of different ways. But for the purpose of this discussion and the time that we have, I'll simply say they're different in this way. They don't come out around the clock. They're typically posted as a static report 5 minutes ahead of the Globex Open. This Thursday session that we're in right now began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. Today, the Thursday session will end at 5 p.m. Eastern. There'll be a 1-hour break. And then tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, that will be the beginning of the Friday session. That's how it works. We go to work Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, and literally work around the clock until Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern. So last night, all of our members and trial members had all of these targets 5 minutes before the market opened at 6 p.m. Eastern. The S&P 500, the Dow, the Russell, crude oil, the NQ, gold, and silver. So let's go to the charts, and we'll start where we normally do with the daily chart of the bellwether, the S&P 500 Emini futures. Now, we're well off the low of the session. The low came in at an area I would have not. We talked about this area yesterday as potential support, and then this area as potential support. We found support like right in the middle. So just telling you, not a spot I would have chosen. But 20% of the time or the less, the market does not do what I expect it to do. I've learned that over the last 7+ years and 21,400 plus alerts. From the low of the session, we have managed to bounce our way back almost to the 24% fib extension. Yesterday we had a doji, and we closed right at the 38% fib extension. Now you'll notice for quite a few days we have closed between the 62 and the 38. I mean, we've spiked it on several days. A lot of spikes to the downside, which under normal market conditions would indicate that we're about to see a rip-roaring move to the upside. But I just don't know. As you can see, blue and climbing up here, it's just one more day. If we close again today below the BBC, we did yesterday, the day before. Now, back on the 2nd, we closed above the BBC. And then on the 3rd, below it. Yesterday below it, right at the 38 Fib extension. And unless something drastically changes, we'll close below it again today. Now, price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green, this green line. Call it the BBC, just stands for bull bear cross. When price crosses above the green line, we're bullish and expect higher prices. When price crosses below the green line, we're bearish and expect lower prices. Bullish, higher prices. Bearish, lower prices. Higher, lower, higher, lower. Pretty simple. So there have been a couple of attempts for a substantial move lower back down to the 24% Fib extension. We got this double bottom going on right here. We did spike it a little on this day, but that was the beginning of a rally. So we still have quite a ways to drop to get back to that double bottom. Now we dropped below the 24% Fib extension. We did not make it to the 0 line. And now we've bounced back. So how we close today is going to be extremely important, as it is each and every day. But I gotta say, this is a bearish chart, and things don't look good for the bullish side of the market. Still have potential support here, 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 here. If we break that 0 line, then we're talking about here, 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 and then way down here. So I wish I could give you more hope, but I don't believe in false hope. I just show you what I see, and what I see is a market that is not behaving in a normal fashion. Been at this since 2005 with futures, and this is the most unusual market I have seen. But look at all the global tension, all the stuff going on. From Capitol Hill to just all over the world. I guess you could sum it up and say things are kind of a mess. They kind of are. So, and we're in earnings season. And Amazon's going to report after the bell today. So now stocks stop trading at 4 p.m. Eastern. And then the earnings report comes out for Amazon. But futures continue to trade until 5 p.m. Eastern. So I would be very, very cautious about trading that final hour of futures today. Because even if Amazon has blowout earnings, I don't know that the market will react positively to it. Once upon a time, if there was good news, the market always went higher. And if there was bad news, the market always went lower. But this is not your father's market. This isn't even my market from years ago. It's a whole new animal. So the best advice is trade what's in front of you. Now, all alerts, the logic alerts and the concierge trade alerts, are created on the 30-minute chart. Nothing magic about 30 minutes. It's just the time frame I chose years ago. And they say if it ain't broke, leave it alone. The vertical lines you see separate today, Thursday. Here's Wednesday. Here's Tuesday. The horizontal lines, those are the weekly trading zones. They're published every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once they're published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They don't change in any way whatsoever. Now, as you can see, price is inching up to the BBC. Now, the pullback holds more often than it doesn't. But we do know that eventually it will trade through. So over here on the daily, we're inching up towards that 38% fib extension, which is potential resistance. This is why learning to read multiple time frames is important. And if we get through the BBC, we got potential resistance there, then at the weekly zone. Now, when price drops to a weekly zone, this is 68.84/85, we expect support until proven otherwise. I don't know what the low on this one was. $86.25. Okay, so we missed touching the zone. Now these are the zones that came out Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Okay, from that zone, we bounced up to this zone, 54.56 yesterday, and found resistance throughout the day. And then we dropped all the way back to that zone at 84.85, found support. That bounced support, bounced us up to resistance at the zone, 69.24/25. This was the opening candle last night. Now these are the targets that I said all of our traders had 5 minutes before the market opened last night. We consolidated at the zone, and then this gap here, let me just refresh this chart. There we go, it filled in. All right. So we consolidated along the zone off the open last night. Then we got below the BBC. Blue and climbing turned to red and falling. And right there we hit at 22.30. 10:30. We hit the CTA short target. Support will always send the market looking for resistance. So we get a retracement back to the BBC. We spiked the BBC and hit that zone that was published Monday morning, and we find resistance. That sends us back down to blue and climbing, and then we consolidate along the BBC, and then we catch a drop at the 7 a.m. Eastern candle all the way down to the short target again and the weekly zone. Now, when price rallies up to a zone, we expect resistance till proven otherwise. When it drops to a zone, support until proven otherwise. So we did catch a little bounce right up to the underside of the short target. And then down we go. Leg retracement, leg retracement. So we've already pulled back to the BBC. And it looks like we're heading lower. Now, when the black step line gets directly below price, it becomes potential support. Notice how on the way down, the black step line and red and falling were running parallel to one another. But things changed right here. The black step line crossed red and falling, When that happens, we expect price to retrace to the BBC, and that's what it did. Now we have potential support here, here, here. When red and falling gets directly below price, that also becomes potential support. If we get through red and falling, there's potential support here, and this is the lowest weekly trading zone for the week, 67/68. On the Dow, here's where we opened last night. We were never able to take out those highs from yesterday afternoon. Just a lot of sideways consolidation. We made a real attempt right here, but as you can see, we didn't quite make it. So we dropped below the zone. Blue and climbing turned to red and falling. We dropped all the way to the weekly zone from Monday morning. We bounced all the way up to here. And then the bottom kind of fell out. Now, this low right here, now this is Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. This low from Tuesday, okay, we spiked it by just a tiny bit. What was that low? 830.49, 834. $49,818. Okay, spiked it by a little bit. Now see the step line crossed. We pulled up to the BBC resistance. Now we're pushing down. There's potential support at the zone, the step line, red and falling, just like on the ES. The Russell, here's where we opened, ran up to the zone, dropped below the BBC. Consolidated like the other markets until about 7 a.m. this morning. And then we made a drop down to the short target. Caught a real nice bounce, almost looked like it was going to turn the market around. And then the next candle took out the low, took out the short target, took out the zone. And these lows here, if you scroll left, you'll see why. Okay, that's part of learning market structure. And so on this bounce, we didn't get all the way back to the BBC. That's a sign of weakness. So we got potential support at the zone, at this low, at this low. And then there's still one more zone below this one, down below. On the NQ. Here, let's refresh this one too. Okay, this was the open last night. We dropped to the to blue and climbing. Red and falling is bearish, obviously. See how the step line crossed? We made the run back to the BBC. But this was the open last night. We got below the BBC, and then we got a retracement, consolidation, and then we dropped to the short target, got a little bounce, dropped, consolidated. There's the pullback to the BBC. Now that was off the 9:30 open. We had a doji for the 9:30 open on the NQ. Over the 30-minute period, we opened here, ran all the way up to the BBC, ran all the way down to the weekly zone, almost to it, and then closed that 30-minute period right where we opened. Then we got some support just below that weekly trading zone, and that is the lowest weekly zone this week for the NQ. We bounced back to the BBC and the pullback held. Now we have potential support here at the step line, blue and climbing, the weekly trading zone. Now Michael will be here in just a few minutes. In fact, Michael, I saw your message come through, so if anytime you want to jump in, feel free. Right here, this was the open on crude. We already talked about the reason why crude is down today. Got red and falling overhead, so when you got that much red and falling chasing price, lower prices are no surprise. Took us to the short target. This low right here yesterday was based off this bullish cross. When you have a bullish cross that leads to an extended move, the first time price revisits that area is almost always good support. So from this support, we bounced up to the zone resistance. Resistance always sends the market looking for support, which it found at the zone. And that bounced us up to the BBC, where so far the pullback has held. If we head lower, got potential support here, here, and then if we should continue higher, keep in mind you got a bearish cross right here, and that is potential resistance. This was the open on gold last night. We didn't quite make it to the long target. We consolidated along the weekly trading zone, got below the BBC, support, gave us a bounce, and then we took it out. Go look left and see why. Okay, support sends us to resistance, the pullback held, so a leg and a retracement, a leg and a retracement, and looks like we're trying to close above the BBC. Red and falling has turned to blue and climbing. You got potential resistance here at the bearish cross, right here where blue turned to red, and at the weekly trading zone. So pretty sideways, okay? But it doesn't look like a lot of movement, but it is. Yeah, let me open it up like that and you can see it a little better, okay? All right, and last, silver opened last night right here, did not make it to the long target. Right here, this high right here yesterday, we didn't even make it to that. Okay, that's what the long target was based off of. We got below the short target, dropped, found support, buyers came in, go over here and look, see why. But we didn't quite make it to the BBC. That's bearish. So that sent us for another leg to the downside. Buyers came in, pushed us up to the BBC. Red and falling has turned to blue and climbing. So we know the pullback holds more often than not. If price is able to overcome the BBC here, look for potential resistance here around 78.80. 80.50. 83.50. 84.91. One last look at the daily. We are now deeper below the 24% fib extension than we were at the beginning of the broadcast. We're still well off the low of the day, but the market looks to be headed in a southerly direction. Okay, so there you have it. Yeah,
Here I am.
Okay.
Okay.
Michael is ready. He's going to give us a recap of what happened in the live training room this morning, and then do some live trading as time and the markets permit. And then I'll come back to wrap things up with our spoken word for the day.
Okay, let me just shut one more thing off on this side and turn one more thing on this side. There we go. I believe I am ready.
All righty.
Okay. Coming over here. There it is. All right, let me minimize this guy.
That looks good.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. Here we go. Just a minute. We're almost ready. Here we go. Now I'm ready. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Thursday, the 5th day of February, 2026. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to take a free trial with us, go to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button right there. There's no credit card required for this trial. Just click on that purple button. And when you do, it's going to bring you to, well, it's going to bring you to this page right here, where all that we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. Down at the very bottom, it gives you TradingView login ID. Once you give us that login ID, we will be able to get you the indicators indicating on your desktop and all the information you need to get into the room with us in the morning and start trading. Okay. The recap. We ended up having an okay day, not a great day, not really even a good day. 1,200 is a good day. 1,200 is what we want to get. We started out slow and we ended really strong. But if you can read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 5th day of February 2026, as I said, and we're up 69 ticks on the NQ, 28 on the Russell, 8 on the YM, and 16 on the ES. That put us at $725 a contract on the morning session. Today took 7 minutes and 5 trades to get to $1,800 with 10 contracts on, or 180 with 1 contract on. Now that was, I believe, when we got that this morning, it was a YM trade. We got 30 ticks on a YM trade, and we had a Russell trade too, with a couple of ticks, I think. I think it was Russell. Could have been an NQ. I don't know. It wasn't NQ. It wasn't NQ. That's right. Anyway, we took 37 trades this morning with 6 stop outs, giving us 83.78%. Our trades are break even or better. On month now, we're at $3,540 over 4 trading days, averaging $885 per contract to our trading day. On the year, we're now at $26,565 over 22 trading days, averaging $1,207 per contract for 2-hour trading day. I don't have all this fixed exactly right, but I think this number is correct. That number is correct. So far this year, we worked 2.23 hours getting our goal, and we're averaging $1,684 per contract getting the goal. Right? I think that number is probably not right, but it's pretty close. Anyway, let's get in there and go through the trades that I did and didn't do. Now, we only had 38 trades, is that right? 37 trades this morning. We'll just start out with the Russell and work our way across. Looks like most of the trades were on the ES, and almost all those trades on the ES were break even. We had 14 trades on the ES, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, half break even. Start out with the gold, that back, and hang on. Here we are. All right, so this is the Russell. I said gold, but I meant Russell. We'll start out with the Russell, and looks like we didn't trade that much until right here. Our first trade on the Russell, we picked up 6 ticks. And then the next one was right there. We picked up 5 more to get us to 11. Then the next one more to get us to 12. Then 1 more to get us to 13. Then 3 more to get us to 16. I'm not seeing where I put all these in. 3 more to get us to 16. There, okay. 3 more to get us to 16. Then 2 more to get us to 18. And then 10 at the end to get us to 28. There it is. 2 more to get us to 18 and 10 at the end to get us to 28. All right. And right at the end of the last 10 minutes, we had something like we had a bunch of trades coming in. And that was it. That is all that we did in that session. So now let's go all the way to the end and see if we have any trades triggered right now. We do not have any trades triggered right now. So I'm going to minimize that. We'll get into the YM right now. In the YM today, we actually got negative for a little while in the YM. That was the only market we got negative on today. So on the Russell, we ended at 28 ticks, and that was the high of the day on the Russell. Now, I did take a little time off this morning, so because I had to call my mom. My mother is in the hospital. She's in good spirits, though. I think she likes being hospitalized and likes being taken care of. And just sit around there. Everybody come and see her for a change. Except me. But, all right. She's happy with my phone call. Anyway, on the YM, my first trade here on the YM, we picked up, that was one where we got the goal for the day. This trade here, we ended up right there getting 30 ticks. And then we stopped out twice in a row right after that. I think there's one stop out, and then the next one was a stop out too. Where it is. Right there. And that brought us back down to 0 on the NQ. Then we got 2 there. And then I believe we stopped out again. And we went right there. That was our third stop out on the YM. And so we're at minus 13 at that point. And we had a +1. Got us to minus 12. Then a +10 got us to minus 2. And then another +10 got us to +8. And that's where we ended it. So all this stuff happened in the last 10 minutes in the room in the morning. These 3 here, the last 2 that I showed you on the Russell, all in the last 10 minutes in the room in the morning. So the markets really started trading well right at the end of the morning session. And that was it for the YM. Now the ES, let's go control them back. I'll go back to the beginning, and you're going to see a whole bunch of lines drawn on the ES in a few minutes here, but ignore them for now. Something else entirely. Now on the ES, we had this on 11 range. We need to go back to the 7 range. Sorry. So those lines aren't going to make any sense to you at all. All those right there. 11 range. Somebody asked me to show them something on the 11 range, so I did. That was during the break. The other Michael R. I guess he tried to do this on an 11 range. Okay, so we're going all the way back to the beginning here. Here we are. All right, so the first one right here was the break even. I had a lot of break evens. Another break even, then another break even, another break even, another break even. So 5 break evens to start out the ES. And another break even, 6 break evens to start out the ES. Then finally, I think our first trade on the ES was a big one. Yeah, we got 16 ticks on this trade right here. Do that. 16 ticks on that trade. And then we stopped out and gave 10 of it back. That brought us to 6. Then we got 4 there, got us back to 10. Then break even again. Then another 4 got us to 14, and then we stopped out again, brought us back down to 4. Then we got 4 there, got us to 8, and then we got 8 there, got us to 16. And that's where we ended on the ES this morning. Okay. So a whole bunch of these things drawn in here. That makes sense on the 11 range, but they don't make any sense here on the 7 range. And that brings us current. So we don't have any trades right here triggering right at the moment. Okay, so the NQ is the next one. Let me take off the extra stuff in here. There. And change that back to that. Okay. Let's see, we'll hit control and back on this. You see that blue line right there? That was something I drew in this morning, saying I think price is going to try to get to that level. I drew in 2 of them because we were right in the middle. We were right in the middle of it for a while there. goes a lot slower. There it is. Okay, so on the NQ. Here we go. This is our day on the NQ. We started out with a 5-tick trade there. Then another 5-tick trade there that got us to 10. And then scrolling all the way over and over and over. We got a 10-tick trade there, got us to 20. Then we got a 4-tick trade, got us to 24. Then right there, we got a 50-tick trade right there, got us to 74. Then we stopped out, minus 35 ticks, brought us down to 39. Then we had somewhere in here, we started getting a bunch more. Might have been in the last 10 minutes. Here it is right here. Went from 39 to 49, then 49 to 59, then 59 to 69. So we had 3 10-tick trades, and there's one of them that's not listed in here. Might have been this one right here. But there were 3 10-tick trades right in a row at the end, and that was it for the NQ this morning. Right, I'm not going to go through everything that happened during the break. This is probably a whole bunch of bars, and probably a lot of things happened. Didn't need to do that either. I meant to do this right here. So let's see. If you have not taken a free trial, for anybody coming in YouTube right now, if you have not taken a free trial, go here to mytradingiq.com. Click on the purple button. There's no credit card required for the trial. Click on the purple button, and it's going to bring you to this registration page. Just fill out the form on this registration page. Once you do that, you'll be sent everything you need, every single thing that you need to get into the room in the morning and to get your indicators indicating on the desktop. All right, let's get in there and trade again. Make sure I can see all my DOMs. It looks like I can. That's not a trade there. 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 So we don't have any trades set up yet, right now. I should probably get the question box open in case anybody has any questions. People don't usually ask questions. Oh, you did ask one there. Lately, the market is moving way too fast for the S7 range. What would you use for faster markets? On the S, I like 15 range. Bob, 15 range is pretty good on the S. The stuff that I was just showing a minute ago, I was actually creating something. Michael R., one of the other guys, he switched to an 11 range. So it's a multiple of 4 minus 1 is what you want to use. Okay, so the 15 range is basically double the 7, and you get really good results with that too. I don't have one right up here, but I'm sure I have one right here. Go to a 15 range. You're looking for the same exact thing. Like right here, you would sell down close of that bar right there. Okay, and well, almost right there. It wasn't really a down close. It did come out of the overbought, but it wasn't really a down close. But right over here, you would have bought the open of that bar right there. All this stuff was for an 11 range that Michael R. asked me to show, but I'm going to finish that later. But yeah, I mean, I can just do it right here on a 15 range for you if you want. I don't know if I have a bracket set up for that. Let me just go see if I have a bracket set up for 15 range. I have a 19 range bracket. Oh, I do have a 15 range bracket right here. Let me go and see if that's correct. It does look to be correct. All right, so I have a 15 range bracket, and you go and make sure that's all good. Okay, this one, I don't think it has to stop going break even automatically, but I'll just use it right now. On the yes. Okay, so over here on the Russell, we need a down close followed by an up close. On the yes, this was the trade right here a minute ago. Right there was the trade a minute ago on the yes. The NQ needs an up close followed by a down close. Right, we didn't get what we needed over here on the Russell. Something 9 is 18. Double 9 is 18. Double 9 is 18. That is true, but I usually have it on a 7. I don't usually have that on a 9. I usually have this one on a 7. So the 15 range is one less than 16. So what you're looking at is 4 points. To put your order on ahead of time from the top or bottom of the bar is 4 points. You just have to add your order on ahead of time. That's why I do the multiple of 4 minus 1. It's a number of points instead of a number of ticks that you're counting. It's just easier to do the math. Okay. Okay. That is good stuff. And okay, Bob. It's 3:16. I'm sorry, I didn't even put that in over here on this. We haven't done any trades yet, but the results, I think today we have 16 minutes. And this will be 2/5. And copy that down to there, paste, and we'll bump this up 1. Okay. So now all I have to do is fill it in. We'll place trades. And while I looked away and did that, we had a trade right there on the YM. The ES is on the 15 range right now, so we may or may not get many trades there. It depends on the market conditions. Okay. And all right. So this morning, I created this alert 2 years ago that gives you on the Russell right now. Down close on the Russell is going to be a short. Okay, down close on the Russell will be a short. And I didn't. It was the one that I had created was just for the shorts. Okay, I'll lock in 3 on the Russell, 5 on the Russell, 10 on the Russell. All right, 10 ticks on the Russell. That was right there. I missed the YM that happened at the same time. I missed the NQ that happened at the same time. Now the NQ is on the 39 range, so I don't know if that's gone 15 ticks in a profit yet, or 16 ticks in a profit. That was the trade right there. We just got 10 ticks on that. Let's the RTY is this one right here. We got 10. Okay, and that becomes a 1, and that becomes a 0. All right, and this didn't copy down. All right, so we're sitting at $500 right now, and I have a trade on the NQ too right now. It's at plus 10 right there. We're in at 62.75. There, that was 20 ticks. That was this right here. It's 20 ticks. We just got on that. Sorry. I knew. I think it was 5 points. I'll go check and make sure it was 5 points in a minute. So that was a trade right there on the NQ as well. We need an up close to hit the mid band right here, and then a down close after that. Gonna have another one here on the NQ on the down close. Just the down close there on the NQ. That'll trigger it. I was gonna go check and see what the last one ended up being. Okay, we still could have down close on the. Now it's too far away. It's too far away. The ES could give us 1. The Russell could give us another 1. I'm thinking they're all going to go up right here, but the ES, the YM, and the Russell could all give us a trade here on the short side while the NQ just ran up too far. Okay. The Russell just did. Here's the Russell one right now. The YM has not yet. The Russell hasn't stopped to +1 yet. It's got to go 5 ticks in profit to bump that stop. The YM just triggered. So we have the Russell and the YM going right now. Okay. They both have to hit 5 to bump the stop to +1. Lock in 2 on the YM. So we're out with 2 on the YM. Now we have the Russell to manage. The NQ didn't end up giving us anything. So we got 2 there to add. We still have 20 to add from this one over here, and that's got to go 5 ticks in a profit to bump that stop. Got to go one more. There it goes. Lock in 5 on that. And 8 on that. 10 on that. Oops, I almost double clicked it. That was 13. Okay, so let me just put this in before I forget. The Russell was 13, so that brings us to 23 there. The YM was 2. The NQ, we got another 20 on that, 5 points, so that goes to 40. And did we do the ES? Oh, I have an ES one going right now. Crap. There's ES. All right, so the ES, we're going to go to plus 12. Okay, and the ES got 12. Gold, I didn't do anything with gold. Okay, so we had 1, 2, 3, 4 more trades onto that. So that becomes a 6. I think we added 5 more trades. I think that's a 7. I think we had 2 NQ trades in there. All right. So that was that one, that one, that one, that one. I think that is what I did on the ES. It's not actually a valid trade though. That one, what did I do? It must have been this right in here. That's what it was. I did this right in here on the ES. The NQ, I did that one for 20, and I haven't done anything else since. There's a lot of trading. It's just like the end of the morning session. The end of the morning session, I had trades going off on all 4 markets. Just like bam, bam, bam. And the ES, I see the ES was on the 15 range too. That's why it looks so different. The way it bumped my stop. It didn't bump my stop. That's why it looks so different. I didn't set it up to bump the stop, I don't think. On the NQ, not the NQ, the YM is a trade right here. Yeah, I tried to drop that one and it didn't fill me. Okay, that was a trade right there on the YM. Let me check that ES because I don't think I have it set up to bump the stop to break even automatically. Do not. Oh, I do. It actually bumps it to break even plus 2. Break even plus 2. Huh. You see. After 8 ticks in profit, it goes to break even plus 2. That's the way that is set up. I'm not sure how that was set up. Interesting. I wasn't really ready for that. That was this bar right here is when I put the trade on. I put it on the bottom of that bar. I think. I was thinking that was going to close down. Pretty sure that's. I was trying to get everything ready on all 4 markets because they were all triggering at once. I'm pretty sure that's what my plan was. Okay, we are at the midband on the YM, and we want to down close from there now. Right, we're overbought at the midband. We need to down close. Nothing else is even closer. There it is, and it gapped a little bit, and then it pulled back right away. Huh. I'm just gonna jump in right here. Okay, here it is. I just jumped in right there. So you can stop me out anyway, even with that super entry. Well, if it does, it does. Well, it might not. The yellow has to go down to 12. Almost there. One more. I think it's going to stop me out. The others are trying to get up to the midband. So while the others get up to the midband, I think this is going to stop me out to the tick probably. And then go down. Nope, it's going to go. It's going to go. There it is. All right, plus 1, plus 2. This is not a trade here. Go to plus 12 right there. Okay, that took a little work on the YM right there, but but we got it. Plus 12 more on that guy. Where's the YM? It's this one right here. Telling you, the markets have just been the last 10 minutes of each session this morning have been great. Well, I don't know. We still have 4 minutes left to this one. We'll see. So far, it's looking good. All right. So, Kyle, you had sent me a message. I think. Did you send me a message? Did I send you an email? I know something happened during the break there. I don't know if it was with you. It could have been another Kyle. I see you're in here, so I want to make sure that you get everything set up on your desktop. All right, 3.5 minutes left. This did not hit the mid-band. We need an up close followed by a down close. There's the up close. Now we're in the overbought. We're at the mid-band, so now we need the down close on that to trigger the trade. All right, on the Russell. The down close is going to be 10 ticks below the top of the bar is what you're going to sell. Now, the midpoint is at 0.7, so it can't go above 0.7. You'd be selling 0.7 right now, like this, okay? It can't go above 0.7. So right now, a down close on this is going to put us right at the mid-band. It'll take us out of the overbought and trigger us into the trade like that. Right, it's actually a little bit above the mid-band. That's not a valid trade, really, but we'll see where it goes. Hopefully it's going to push down. Looks like it could stop us out, but hopefully it'll push down. The others are starting to move up. The NQ, a down. Okay, we did stop out on that one. The NQ, a down close on the NQ. It's going to flip the Y bear. It's not going to be a trade. Skip it. The ES, we stopped out on that one. Let me put that in. With one stop out, and that was the Russell. So it's minus 15 on the Russell, brings us down to 8 there. We flipped the YBR over here. We did not get a trade here on the ES. We did not get a trade here because this one came out of the overbought. Did not go full cycle. This was actually a valid trade right there that would have stopped out if we had taken it. This one, I was almost sure it was going to stop me out to the tick, and that's exactly what it did, stop me out to the tick. This is actually a long trade over there on the NQ. Right here. That's a long trade on the NQ. Here it is. My stop just went to plus 10, plus 14. Okay, and that was the NQ right there. Right there. This goes up to 54. And this goes to 10 trades. 10 trades in 16 minutes so far. What time is it now? We still have a minute and a half, right? Something like that. Yeah, a minute and a half. How many trades can we get in a minute and a half, you think? All right, no email yet. I will send you an email. All right. This, an up close on this is not going to be a trade because it's not flat. You see this right here, Kyle? When you have a trade like this, the bar before, the mid-band has to be flat on the bar before. You see how it's not flat right here? So if you got an up close to take it out of the oversold, it'd close up above the mid-band, but it's not flat, so it's not going to be a valid trade. Okay. We're running out of time. We have 30 seconds left. You see what I mean right there? It's not flat. It didn't go into the overbought anyway. It actually came out of the oversold. So I think it's kind of mixed up here. It's going to flip the YBR back down. That's what I think is going to happen. But I think we're going to run out of time. Okay. Yeah, we're going to run out of time. We need an up close here and an up close here. We'll complete the cycle, and then we need a down close on both of those to get a trade. Right. So I guess the Russell could have one right there. The Russell does have one right there. The YM could have one too, but we ran out of time. All right, so let's just look at where we are right now. I guess I would wrap it up with 10 trades in 16 minutes. That's plenty of trading. There is one here on the Russell too, right? But today is this is our 40th day of keeping track of these afternoon sessions. I've been doing these afternoon sessions for years, and I never kept track of them until sometime in November, the middle of November, when I started keeping track of them. So this is where we stand. Remember, the goal for the day is to make $100 per contract. So in these afternoon sessions, you see we're averaging 14.6 minutes of trading per afternoon session. And in those 14.6 minutes, we are averaging, the goal for the day is to make $100 per contract. We're averaging 1.5 times the goal for the day in this little period of time. So if you can't get into the morning session, you can always, Cal, I can help you. If you can't get into the morning session, you can always just come to this afternoon session and see this part of it anyway, where I do the trading in this period. So today, the 5th day of February 2026, we're up 54 ticks on the NQ, 8 ticks on the Russell, 14 ticks on the YM, and 12 ticks on the ES. We said $5,300 with 10 contracts, or $530 in 16 minutes with one contract. 90% of our trades were break even or better. We only had one stop out of 10 trades, so that's pretty good. And yeah, that's it. So that is where we stand on this. Now, the morning session, we traded more. We're at $725, and most of that was in the last 10 minutes of the morning session. With that first hour and a half, hour and 3/4 of the morning session was actually worse than these 15 minutes here and the last 15 minutes of that. But it is what it is. The markets give you what they give you. So again, if you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button, no credit cards required for the trial. That will bring you to this page. We just fill it out. All right, when you fill out this page, that's all you need to do. Fill out that page. Okay. So, Kyle, do you have a headset? Looks like I just set up a meeting with you and I can get that straightened out. Now at the beginning of your trial, because you really want to get that done at the beginning of your trial. We need no close here on the NQ will be a trade. I'm sorry, with that, I can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, in Studio A overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. There's Dwayne. Sorry, Dwayne.
Oh, no worries. No worries at all. Okay, recap of the morning session.
Today it took 7 minutes and 5 trades to get to $1,800 with 10 contracts on it.
Good job.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, guys, we covered all of the markets in granular fashion. If you missed any part at all, as soon as I sign off, go to youtube.com/CFRN and you can watch today's broadcast in its entirety. We archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,900 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. To become a member, email Valerie, support@cfrn.net. Let her know you want to become a member. She'll send you all the information you need to get signed up. Once you're all signed up, you'll have access to 2 hours of live training every trading day. Now that is live training. It's an interactive environment. You're asking questions, putting on, taking off trades in your demo account, learning the strategy, learning to read the indicators. On top of the 2 hours of live training every day, you have access to private one-on-one mentoring. All you got to do is ask. The strategy you learn, the indicators you use as a passport holder are fluid across all markets and all time frames. Stocks, futures, crypto, Forex, ETF, doesn't matter. Price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. From support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again. It's a never-ending cycle. As a passport holder, you get the Logic 247 alerts, the Concierge Trade alerts. Every Monday morning, you get the weekly trading zones. You're able to attend the members-only workshop every Thursday night. And you get the golden keys that open all the private channels in Telegram. Everything a trader needs, all under one roof, one low price. Just email Valerie, support@cfrn.net. And we'll wrap it up with our good word for the day. Honor one another. Romans 12:10. Be kindly affectionate to one another with brotherly love, in honor giving preference to one another. Have you ever noticed how quick we are to accuse someone else of the very things we excuse in ourselves? In so doing, we practice a double standard, requiring more from others than of ourselves. Jesus said in Matthew 7:3, "Why do you look at the speck in your brother's eye, but do not consider the plank in your own eye?" The double standard works like this. When others are set in their ways, they're obstinate. But you're firm and resolved. When your neighbor doesn't like your friend, she's prejudiced. But when you don't like her friend, you're a good judge of character. When she tries to treat someone especially well, she's buttering them up. But when you do so, you're just being thoughtful. When she takes time to do things well, she's lazy. But when you do, you're meticulous. When she spends a lot, she's reckless and undisciplined. But when you do the same thing, you're generous. When she picks flaws in things, she's critical. But when you do, you're perceptive. When she's mild-mannered, you call her weak, but when you are, you're gracious. When she dresses well, she's extravagant, but when you do, you're tastefully in style. When she says what she thinks, she's spiteful. But when you do, hey, you're just being honest. When she takes risks, she's foolhardy. But when you do, you're brave. Get the picture? Paul wrote, "Be kindly affectionate to one another with brotherly love, in honor, giving preference to one another." So the word for today is, let us honor one another. And that's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.